The cruiser's lights exploded across the dashboard like a seizure, painting my world in frantic blue and red. I slammed on the brakes, heart jackhammering, tires screeching on the wet asphalt of this godforsaken stretch of I-70 outside Kansas City. "Fuck," I muttered, hands gripping the wheel at 10 and 2, just like they taught in those outdated driver's ed videos, because yeah, that shit actually matters when you're black and driving alone at midnight in Missouri. "Step out of the vehicle, sir." The voice crackled over the speaker, all gravel and command, the kind that doesn't ask twice. I complied, slow, deliberate, palms open like I was surrendering to more than just a traffic stop, because I knew the drill, had lived it too many times. The sidelong glances in the rear view, the "what's a guy like you doing out here" questions that always carried an edge. He was built like a linebacker gone to seed just enough to look human, 6'4" easy, shoulders straining the seams of his tan uniform shirt, badge catching the drizzle like a cold star. Deputy Jacob Hale, the name tag said, but his eyes hit me first, steel gray, unreadable under the brim of his Stetson. "License and registration," he barked, not even glancing at the taillight I knew was out, had been for weeks, too broke to fix it after Ma's chemo bills piled up like unpaid regrets. I fished them out, movements measured, and handed them over. His fingers brushed mine, rough, calloused from God knows what, and something flickered in his gaze, gone before I could name it. "You been drinking, Mr. Ellis?" Jacob's voice dropped low, almost intimate, like we were sharing a secret in a bar instead of this pouring rain. "No, sir. Just heading home from a shift at the warehouse." Lie number 1. I'd had a beer at the dive-off exit 12, but it was warm piss water, barely a buzz. Lie number 2. Home was a motel room in St. Louis, not the family farm I'd fled at 18. He stepped closer, close enough I could smell the leather of his belt, the faint tang of his sweat cutting through the storm's ozone bite. Hands on the hood. "Spread 'em." Authority dripped from him like the rain from his hat, and I felt it, the weight of it, the way he wanted me to feel small, pinned, exposed. My cheek pressed cold metal, pulse thundering in my ears as his hands patted me down. Thorough, lingering a beat too long on my hips, my thighs. "You got anything I should know about?" "Just my dignity, deputy. And that's non-negotiable." The words slipped out sharper than I meant, a spark in the powder keg. He froze, breath hot against my neck. "Watch your tone, boy. This ain't the place for smart mouths." But his grip tightened, not angry, not quite. Hungry? No, that couldn't be right. Then he yanked my wrists behind my back, cuffs clicking like a judge's gavel, and for a split second, his thumb grazed the pulse point on my wrist, soft as a lover's touch. "You know why I pulled you over? Tail light, I guessed." Voice steady despite the adrenaline crash. "Speeding. And attitude." He spun me around, face inches from mine, rain streaking between us like tears we hadn't shed yet. Those gray eyes bored in, stripping layers I'd built over years of hiding, of burying the farm boy who'd once dreamed of city lights and boys who looked at him like he was the sun, not a storm to weather. Benjamin Ellis. From Eldridge, class of '09. My stomach dropped, the world tilting. "How the fuck?" Jacob Hale. The name slammed home like a freight train. The golden boy quarterback, prom king, the straight arrow farm kid who'd vanished after graduation. Whispers saying he'd joined the force to make something of himself. We'd been in the same homeroom, same calc class, me, the quiet scholarship kid with the chip on his shoulder, him, the one everyone orbited, including me, from afar, nursing a crush I'd never voiced because small-town Missouri didn't do that shit. Yeah, I rasped, rain blurring my vision. And you're Jake Hale, the one who broke Tommy Whitaker's nose for calling him a fag behind the bleachers. His jaw clenched, a muscle ticking like a bomb. Deputy Hale, he corrected, but the authority cracked, just a hair. He uncuffed me abrupt, stepping back like I'd burned him. Get that light fixed. And drive safe. Then he was gone, back to his cruiser, leaving me shivering in the downpour, the truth hanging between us like smoke. This wasn't random. This was reckoning. I drove the next 100 miles on autopilot, the wipers slapping rhythm like a heartbeat I couldn't outrun. Eldridge clung to my rear view like a bad tattoo. Cornfields that choked the horizon. Church steeples preaching fire and brimstone on Sundays. And secrets buried deeper than Grandpa's moonshine still. I'd bolted at 18. Scholarship to Mizzou burning a hole in my pocket. Chasing architecture degrees and anonymity in St. Louis bars where a guy could kiss another guy without the world ending. But Ma's cancer yanked me back last year, tethering me to temp gigs and ghosts. By dawn, I crashed at the motel, sheets reeking of bleach and regret. Sleep came in fits. Jake's hands on me, not rough now but tracing lines down my spine, whispering my name like a prayer. Woke up hard and hating myself, the kind of ache that starts in your gut and ends in your throat. Work that day was a blur. Forklifts humming in the cavernous warehouse. Boxes of who knows what stacking like Jenga towers. My buddy Rico clocked my distraction over lunch, his Cuban sandwich half-eaten. You look like you saw La Muerte herself, Benji. Spill. Old flame. I lied, picking at my PB&J. Or close enough. He laughed, all teeth and zero judgment. Rico was the one who dragged me to my first pride float. Rainbow flag slapping my face like a wake-up call. Flame? Man, you need to fan that shit. Life's too short for cold beds. If only. By quitting time, I was wired, scrolling Jake's profile on the county sheriff's site like a masochist, 32. Decorated for that meth bust last spring. Married? No ring in the photo. But the bio screamed straight-laced, proud servant of Eldridge County. Family man. God-fearing. Bullshit. That touch last night wasn't godly. It was a man wrestling demons. I shouldn't have driven back. Should have turned south to St. Louis. Let the arches glow erase the pull. But the farm called. Ma needed her meds refilled, and Eldridge's pharmacy was the only one that took her crappy insurance. Dusk hit as I rolled into town. Main Street a postcard of faded glory. Diner with the checkered floor. Hardware store where Mr. Hargrove still asked after my prospects. The cruiser was parked outside the station. Lights off. Jake leaning against it like he owned the shadows. Coincidence? In Eldridge? Maybe. In my gut? Hell no. He straightened as I slowed, tipping his hat like we were at a county fair. Ellis. No deputy this time, just my name. Low and loaded. Hale. I killed the engine, stepping out into the cooling air. Crickets chirping a warning chorus. Twice in 2 days. You stalking me now? A ghost of a smile. There and gone. Just making sure you fixed that light. We both knew it. I popped the trunk. Showed him the new bulb still in the package. Procrastination's my superpower. He nodded, but didn't move. Arms crossed over that chest I remembered from gym class. All power and promise. Heard about your ma. Cancer's a bitch. Yeah. The word caught. Stage 3. Chemo's kicking her ass. But she's fighting. He shifted, boots scuffing gravel. My dad went the same way. Pancreatic. Quick, but yeah. Silence stretched, thick as the humidity, until he cleared his throat. Coffee? Diners open late. It was a dare. A door cracking open in a house I'd boarded up years ago. I should have said no, walked away, kept the fantasy of Jake Hale as untouchable jock intact. But Ma always said life's too short for what-ifs. Black. No sugar. The diner smelled of grease and pie crust. Formica counters scarred from decades of small-town drama. We slid into a booth by the window, Margie pouring our mugs without a word. Eldridge's grapevine had us pegged as odd couple before we'd finished stirring. So, I started, steam rising like unspoken questions. Why me? Last night wasn't about speeding. He stared into his cup, knuckles white. Saw your plate at the light. Old habits. A beat. You were always different. Quiet, but sharp. Watched you sketch those buildings in class, like you were building worlds bigger than this shithole. Heat crept up my neck. Not embarrassment, but the thrill of being seen. And you were the king shit everyone kissed ass for. What happened to college ball? Scouts were drooling. Recruited to K-State. Tore my ACL sophomore year. End of story. He shrugged. But the shrug carried weight. Dreams derailed. The farm inheritance that never came. Enlisting in the sheriff's academy instead. This is what stuck. Margie refilled. Eyebrow arched. But we ignored her. Talk flowed easy after that. His busts on tweakers. My blueprints for high-rises that might never get built. The time I hot-wired Old Man Jenkins' tractor for a joyride. He didn't laugh, but his eyes crinkled. The bonfire parties where he'd chug beers to drown whatever churned inside. Tommy Whitaker, I said finally, the name a grenade. You decked him for me? Jake's gaze dropped. For him. And yeah, for you. Heard the whispers. Eldridge eats its own. The air shifted, charged. Under the table, his knee brushed mine. Accidental? Bullshit. I didn't pull away. What now? Deputy? You gonna cuff me again? Only if you ask nice. The words hung, laced with heat, and when his hand found my thigh under the scarred wood, calluses scraping denim, I didn't flinch. This was the truth emerging. Not authority, but hunger. Two men, worlds apart yet tethered by the same dirt roads, reaching across the divide. We stumbled out at closing. Margie's night, boys trailing like judgment. His cruiser idled in the lot, but he waved it off. My place. 5 miles east. Old Miller Farm. I followed his taillights through cornstalk sentinels, pulse sinking to the engine's growl. The house was a sagging rancher, porch light flickering welcome. Inside, worn leather couch, walls lined with badges and faded photos, Jake in shoulder pads, grinning, Jake at academy graduation, stone-faced. No words. He backed me against the door, mouth crashing into mine like a storm breaking, rough, desperate, tasting of coffee and need. Hands everywhere, mine fisting his shirt, popping buttons, his yanking my belt free, growling my name like a curse and a blessing. We hit the floor mid-hallway, carpet burn on knees, his weight pinning me in the best way, authority flipped. Now it was mine to wield. Ben, he gasped, forehead to mine, slick with sweat. Been wanting this since. Fuck, since that goddamn calc project. You drawing hypotheticals while I stared at your hands. I laughed, breathless, arching into him. Hypotenuse. Hail. Get it right. But the laugh died as he moved. Slow now. Reverent. Kisses trailing fire down my chest. Fingers mapping scars I didn't know I had. It wasn't just sex. It was unraveling. Years of silence spilling out in gasps and grips. Dawn crept in gray, finding us tangled in sheets that smelled of him, hay and gun oil. Jake traced my jaw. Thumb rough. It's complicated. Story of my life. I propped on an elbow, studying him, the crow's feet starting, the vulnerability cracking his armor. But worth it. His smile was tentative. Real. Yeah. Worth the pullover. We dressed slow, stealing touches like thieves. He brewed coffee strong as regret, and over mugs on the porch, watching mist burn off the fields. He cracked open more. The ex-wife who'd left when he couldn't man up about his doubts. The prayers he'd whispered in empty churches, begging God to fix what wasn't broken. The busts where he'd let small-timers slide because mercy felt holier than the law. Your ma know? He asked, voice casual but eyes sharp. I shook my head. She suspects. Raised me on gospel and grit. Loves me fierce. Questions be damned. A pause. Yours. Dad's gone. Mom. She'd pray harder if she knew. He set his mug down, hand finding mine. But fuck it. One day at a time. I left with a kiss that lingered, promising more. The drive to Ma's was sunlit. Radio crooning Springsteen, born to run, but maybe not alone. For the first time in years, Eldridge felt less like a cage and more like a crossroads. Weeks blurred into a rhythm I hadn't known I craved. Stolen nights at Jake's, my motel room a ghost town. Mornings tangled in limbs, his badge tossed careless on the nightstand like a shed skin. He'd wake me with coffee and quiet stories, how he'd patrol the backroads at dawn, chasing shadows that looked too much like his own doubts. I'd sketch him then, pencil flying over graph paper. Jake unbuttoned, leaning against the kitchen counter, eyes soft in the slant light, the farmer's son peeking through the lawman's facade. Ma noticed the lift in my step when I'd visit, bearing groceries and lies about a girl from work. Her eyes, sharp despite the chemo haze, would narrow over her quilt. Boy, love don't hide easy. Whoever she is, treat her right or him, if that's the truth of it. I'd freeze, heart in my throat, but she'd just pat my hand, humming hymns that sounded like absolution. Rico grilled me over beers at the warehouse break room. You glowing, cabron. Spill the tea. I deflected with jokes about lotto wins, but he saw through it, clapping my shoulder. Pride's in June. Hermano. Bring your mystery man. We'll make him family. June loomed like a beacon and a bomb. Eldridge Pride? Non-existent. The nearest was Columbia, 2 hours north. A riot of rainbows and regret I'd skipped since Ma's diagnosis. But Jake. He'd mentioned it offhand one night, post-climax glow fading to unease. Crowds ain't my thing. Last year, some tweaker tried knifing the float crew. Sheriff's overtime nightmare. Scared, I teased, nipping his earlobe. Of you? Never. But his laugh rang hollow, and when I pushed, gentle, probing, he rolled away, staring at the ceiling fan's lazy spin. It's the job, Ben. Badge means straight lines, no detours. Folks here. They talk. And talk turns to tar and feathers. I let it drop, but the seed rooted, betrayal's whisper, the fear he'd choose the uniform over us. Still, we pushed forward. He met Ma once. Awkward Sunday lunch. Him in civvies, charming her with tales of his mom's pie recipes. She beamed, frail hands clasping his. Strong hands. Jacob. Good for holding on. I choked on my tea, reading volumes in her subtext. Nights deepened our tangle. Sex evolved from frantic release to something sacred, slow explorations by firelight. His mouth charting my collarbone like a map to buried treasure. My fingers threading his hair, pulling him closer as he murmured praises in that gravel drawl. You're my hypotenuse, Ellis. The shortest distance between 2 points. And fuck, you're straight fire. Laughter bridged the gaps, but cracks spiderwebbed. A call mid-patrol. Hail. Domestic on Maple. Husband swinging again. He'd hang up hollow-eyed, vest creaking as he geared up. Same couple. Third time. She won't leave. Says she loves him. Love's blind, I'd say, hating the echo in our own story. One sticky July evening, Rico cornered me after shift. Pride tickets. Mi amigo. You in. I hesitated, Jake's words looping. Bring him. Anonymous if he's shy. I texted Jake from the parking lot. Pride? Columbia. June 15th. You, me, rainbows. No badges. Dots danced. Then can't. Shift swap fell through. Rain check. I checked the sheriff's rota online open slot. The seed sprouted thorns. We fought that night, words sharp as switchblades. His kitchen, takeout cooling untouched. It's not about hiding, Ben. It's survival. You think Eldridge's ready for Deputy Dykebait? Deputy coward. Maybe. The slap of truth stung us both. He recoiled, face crumpling. You don't get it. Last election, Hargrove lost 'cause his son came out. Town called it moral decay. I got mouths to feed, moms on oxygen. Bills stacking like cordwood. And I got a heart stacking regrets. I grabbed my keys. Storm door slamming echo. The drive to Columbia was solitary. Rain lashing like accusations. Pride pulsed electric. Floats blaring gaga. Leathermen in chaps. Kids waving flags bigger than their dreams. Rico found me in the crowd, slinging an arm around. Where's Prince Charming? Hiding, bitter on my tongue. But the music pulled me in. Drag queens lip-syncing anthems of defiance. Couples entwined without shame. I danced alone, sweat slick, letting the bass drown the ache. Until my phone buzzed. I'm an idiot. At the edge of the park. Blue truck. Heart somersaulting. I wove through bodies, emerging to find him under an oak. Stetson low. Flannel unbuttoned over a faded Husker tee. No uniform. Just Jake, vulnerable, real. You came. Disbelief choked me. Couldn't stay away. He pulled me into shadow. Kiss fierce. Tasting of mint and apology. Seeing you here. Fuck. Ben. You shine. We melted into the fringes. Hands linked hidden. Watching the parade like voyeurs to our future. Fireworks cracked overhead later. Sparks mirroring the ones in his eyes. I'll tell Mom. After the harvest fair. Small steps. I believed him. God. I did. August scorched the fields gold. Harvest hum filling the air with diesel and dust. Jake's shifts eased. Post-bust lull, and we carved time. Picnics by the creek where we'd skipped stones as kids. Him skipping now with a grin that erased years. Midnight drives. Windows down. His hand on my thigh as Bruce wailed about highways and heartaches. but whispers slithered in. At the diner, Margie's pour lingered. Heard you and the deputy. Clothes-like, neutral, but laced. Mind your grease, Marg. I shot back, but unease gnawed. Worse, a call from an unknown. Ellis? Pastor Klein. Your ma's in my flock. Words out about. Indiscretions. Best come clean, son. Before the devil claims more. I hung up, gut roiling, and drove to Jake's blind. He answered shirtless, concern etching his brow. What's wrong? Town knows. The words tumbled, Klein's call, Margie's hint. We're outed. Panic flashed, then steel. How? Doesn't matter. What now? I searched his face, needing anchor. He paced, hands raking hair. I'll handle it. Talk to the sheriff. Frame it as friendship. Deep, but platonic. Friendship. The word gutted me. And us? Side hustle till the heat dies. Ben. Please. Agony twisted him. Give me time. Time. The thief we couldn't outrun. I left with a chaste kiss, the porch light mocking our retreat. Days stretched taut. Ma's health dipped, another round of chemo, her frail form swallowed by hospital sheets. I sat vigil, Jake texting check-ins, holding up, love you. But no visits. Protocol, he claimed. Rico pulled me aside at work. He ghosting? Dump his ass. Ben. You deserve fireworks, not flickers. He's scared, I defended. But doubt festered. The blow landed mid-September, harvest moon fat and judgmental. I'd planned a surprise, dinner at his place, candles scavenged from Ma's drawer, wine I couldn't afford. Door ajar, voices spilled. Jake's, low, another's, syrup sweet. Jake, honey, we need to talk. Female. Familiar, Lila, the ex. I froze in shadow, peeking, her perched on his couch. Blonde waves and sundress, hand on his knee. Him, tense, not pulling away. Lila, this ain't. I know about him. Benjamin Ellis. The town's buzzing. Pastor Klein called me, worried. Said you're confused, post-divorce blues. Her laugh tinkled. False. But I get it. We were good once. Let me help you remember. His silence screamed. Then, it's complicated. Complicated. Not denial, but deflection. Betrayal's knife twisted as she leaned in, lips brushing his cheek. Come to the fair tomorrow. Public. Show 'em you're still our boy. He nodded, faint, but there. Yeah. For Mom's sake, I backed away, unseen, world fracturing. The drive home blurred through tears, Springsteen mocking, trapped on the turnpike, no way out. Ma found me at dawn, curled on the porch swing, whiskey bottle half empty. Boy, she murmured, easing beside me, her hand birdbone on mine. Heartbreak's the great leveler. But it don't define you. Ma, I thought. Sobs cracked me open. Love chooses the brave. Benjamin. Not the easy. She held me till the sun crested, her strength a quiet fire. The fair that night. Eldridge's pinnacle of Americana. Booths hawking funnel cakes and futures. Ferris wheel creaking against stars. I went alone, ghosting the crowds, seeking masochistic closure. There, Jake, arm around Lila, laughing at Hargrove's jokes, badge polished like virtue. Our eyes met across the midway, his widening, mine icing over. He disentangled, approaching cautious. Ben. Wait. Deputy. Venom sweet. Enjoying the show? Listen. It's optics. Damage control. Desperation edged his plea. Optics. I laughed. Hollow. Fuck your optics. And fuck you. I turned, melting into the throng, the midway lights blurring to accusations. Behind, his shout, Benjamin, but I didn't stop. Not for the boy who'd pulled me over, made me feel his authority, then shattered mine. October winds howled through Eldridge like Judgment Day, stripping leaves to bone and illusions to dust. I threw myself into work, double shifts at the warehouse, blueprints sprawling across every motel surface, high-rises rising in ink if not steel. Ma rallied, chemo's grip loosening just enough for walks in her garden. Her stories of daddy's jazz records a bomb against the void Jake left. Rico became anchor, Friday nights at his apartment, Pozole steaming, queer cinema flickering, broke back first. Ironic gut punch. See that? He jabbed at the screen, Ennis clutching the shirt. Don't be that fool, Benji. Let go. But letting go clung like burrs. Jake's texts piled unanswered. Talk to me. Please. I deleted them in batches, each swipe a small exorcism. Once, patrolling the farm supply store, I spotted his cruiser idling, him inside, staring at shelves of seed like they held answers. Our eyes locked through glass. He mouthed sorry, but I turned, cart rattling away. Town tension simmered. Whispers followed me at the pharmacy. That Ellis boy. Trouble. Pastor Klein's sermons sharpened. Fire and brimstone on Sodom's sins. Congregants side-eyeing Ma's pew. She squeezed my hand one Sunday, whispering, "Let him talk, baby. God's got bigger fish." November brought frost and fracture. Ma's scan showed spread lungs now, the thief encroaching. Hospital in Kansas City swallowed us. Sterile halls echoing beeps and bargains with fate. I slept in vinyl chairs, sketching escape routes in margins. Towers piercing clouds, bridges spanning chasms wider than Missouri's rivers. Jake appeared on day 3, Stetson in hand, uniform traded for jeans and flannel that hung loose, like he'd lost weight in the weeks apart. Nurses buzzed past. He hovered in the doorway, ghost pale. Ben, voice wrecked. Out, flat, final. Ma stirred in her bed, eyes fluttering open. Jacob, she murmured, extending a hand. Sit. He needs you, even if pride says otherwise. Betrayal's echo, but her wisdom cut deeper. He perched on the room's lone stool, hat brim shadowing regret. Mrs. Ellis. I'm sorry. For everything. Call me Ruth, child. And sorry's cheap. Actions? Those cost. Her gaze pinned him, frail authority unyielding. He nodded, swallowing. I fucked up. Lila. She was a shield. Easier to play straight than face the storm. Storms pass, Ma said softly. But cowards drown. I stared at the floor, linoleum scuffed like my resolve. Why now? Guilt trip. No, he leaned forward, elbows on knees. Clarity. Saw your truck at the quarry last week, alone, skipping rocks like we used to. Broke me open. I love you, Benjamin. Terrified me, but true, love. The word hung, weapon and salve. Ma's monitor beeped steady. She closed her eyes, granting us space. Too late. I whispered, but the crack in my voice betrayed me. Is it? His hand hovered, seeking permission. I didn't grant it, but didn't recoil when he bridged the gap, fingers lacing mine, cold, trembling. I quit the pretense. Told Mom last night. She cried, prayed, then hugged me. Said God don't make mistakes. Air whooshed from me, dam breaking. And the job? Sheriff's golden boy. Transferred request in. Desk duty. Columbia PD. Closer to. If you'll have me. Ma's voice. Sleepy. Have him. Fool. Life's chemo bitter. But you fight through. We stayed till visiting hours ended. His thumb stroking my knuckles. A silent vow. In the parking lot, under sodium lamps, he pulled me close, no passion, just presence. Forgive me, not yet, honesty's edge. But, try. December dusted the world white, blanketing sins in innocence. Ma stabilized enough for home hospice, her garden view, morphine drips easing the edges. Jake integrated slow grocery runs, her favorite blues on the record player, his low chuckle coaxing her smiles. You're good for him, Jacob. Steady like your daddy's tractor. Trying. Ruth. He'd kiss her forehead. Then mine, chaste, but loaded. Christmas Eve. Tree strung with popcorn and regrets. Fire crackling. Ma in her armchair, blanket tucked, us on the rug like kids. Jake unpacked a gift small box, velvet. Inside, silver cufflinks, etched with hypotenuse symbols, playful nod to our calc days. For your architect suits, he said, shy. When you build that skyline, tears pricked. I fastened them to his shirt cuffs instead. Yours first. Lawman needs luck. Ma watched, proving. To new beginnings, but fate's a cruel editor. New Year's dawned with her rattle worsening. Lungs flooding, doctors blunt. Days, maybe. We rallied. Rico hauling tamales. Neighbors, even Margie dropping pies with mumbled blessings. Jake took leave, badge sidelined, his hand never leaving mine through the vigils. Her last night, moon full through frost-laced windows, she gathered us. Benjamin. Live loud. Love fierce. No more hiding. To Jake. Protect his heart. Yours too. Then. Softer. Sing for me. Boys. We did duet of Amazing Grace. Voices cracking. Hers joining faint till it faded. She slipped at dawn. Peaceful. Hand in ours. Grief hollowed us, but welded tighter. Funeral packed the church. Eldridge's uneasy truce. Pastor Klein's eulogy skirting sins for Ruth's unyielding faith. Jake stood sentinel beside me, arm brushing a public claim, subtle but seismic. After, at the graveside, snow flurrying like confetti for the dead, he pulled me aside. She was right. No more hiding. His kiss was public, brief, defiant, heads turning, murmurs rippling. But no lightning struck, just winter sun glinting off headstones, promising thaw. Spring green tentative, 2010 blooming with fragile hope. Jake's transfer cleared. We packed his farm into boxes. My motel key surrendered. Columbia apartment, 2-bedroom walk-up, views of the river snaking like our path. First night, unpacking amid chaos. He found my sketch pad, pages of us. Him patrolling dreams, me building nests. You see me, he whispered, threading. Always did. I drew him then. Fresh page. Jake unbound. Firelight glow, our future in pencil strokes. But scars linger. June pride. We marched hand in hand, rainbows draping us like armor. His stride hitched at first, old habits, but Rico's whoop pulled him in, crowd swallowing doubts. This is us, he yelled over bass, grin breaking free. Summer deepened the bond. Weekends at Ma's farm, now mine by Will, tilling soil with hands that knew each other better. Sex reignited. Playful mornings in sun-dappled sheets, urgent evenings against kitchen counters. His authority surrendered gladly. Yours, he'd gasp, arching under me, gray eyes molten. Yet conflict simmered societal. Sheriff's old guard grumbling his lifestyle transfer. Whispers at the hardware store when we'd shop coupled. One night, post-barbecue with Rico's crew, a drunk redneck spat faggots from his truck. Jake tensed, hand twitching to holster habit, but I gripped his wrist. Not worth it. We're the story now, he exhaled, nodding. Yeah. Our narrative. Fall brought climax unbidden. Election season. Jake's name floated for sheriff. Reform ticket. Fresh voice for Eldridge. Debates crackled. Opponents slung mudsuttle. Family values dog whistles that landed like punches. Lila resurfaced, endorsing rivals. Her smile camera ready. Jacob's a good man, but misguided. Betrayal's aftertaste soured. She's playing you, I warned over diner pie, her photo glaring from the local rag. I know, he stabbed his fork. But the town. If I win, I change it from inside. Hubris or hope, polls swung wild, his youth and bust record versus tradition's grip. Election night, our apartment TV flickering tallies, beer sweating on the coffee table. At midnight, confetti virtual, Hale wins by 200 votes. Elation crashed, reporters swarming his phone. Comment on the rumors? He faced the barrage calm. My partner Benjamin and I are proud to serve Eldridge together. Love's the strongest law. Headlines next day, new sheriff, new era, backlash brewed, boycotts threatened, Klein thundering from pulpits. But supporters rallied. Ma's old choir ladies baking casseroles, Rico's network flooding social with Hale heart. Through it, our core held nights where he'd collapse, vest heavy with the day's weight, and I'd unburden him. Massages melting knots, whispers of you're enough. Romance deepened humanistic. Not grand gestures, but quiet graces. Him braiding wildflowers into my hair during field walks. Me drafting plans for a community center. Hale House, haven for the hidden. Winter 2011. Snow blanketed our world soft. One eve, fire roaring. He knelt, not proposal, but pledge, ring simple, silver like the cufflinks, engraved hypotenuse, us. Marry me, then. Build this life. Tears blurred. I pulled him up, kissing fierce. Yes. Always. Ceremony small, Columbia Courthouse. Rico best man. Ma's quilt draped our shoulders. Vows echoed her words. Fierce, loud, no hides. Years unfurled. Sheriff's reforms, LGBT liaisons, domestic hotlines revamped. My firm taking off, designs dotting skylines with inclusive arcs. Jake's hair silvered at temples. Mine cropped closer against time's tide. Betrayals faded to footnotes, conflicts to chapters closed. On our 10th, revisiting that I-70 pullover spot, now a scenic overlook, we stood wrapped, stars pricking velvet sky. Authority, he chuckled, nuzzling my neck. Thought I had it all. Then you emerged, Truth always does. I turned, claiming his mouth. Slow, eternal. Humanity's arc bends, not breaks. Two men, once pulled over by fear, now steering tandem. In America's heartland, love's the ultimate bust, freeing what was caged. Yet no arc smooth. 2015 tested us. Storm clouds gathering unbidden. Jake's sheriff tenure peaked. Re-elected landslide. His compassionate enforcement mantra echoing Ma's grit. But national winds shifted. Headlines screaming Obergefell triumph. Then backlash froth, bathroom bills, wedding cake wars, Eldridge's fringes foaming at the mouth. It hit home subtle. Slashed tires on our cruiser, community property. But message clear. Anonymous letters to the station. Resign. Sinner. Jake brushed it off public. Pressers touting unity but private. Doubts gnawed. Nights, he'd pace our kitchen. Badge unclipped like a noose loosened. Am I pushing too hard? Ben? Forcing change on folks who ain't ready. You're leading, I countered. Sketching at the table, now senior architect. My firm's Midwest branch humming. They'll catch up or get left. But the fracture widened when Tommy Whitaker resurfaced. Out and proud now. Columbia lawyer. Back for a class reunion stir. We hosted a barbecue. Old classmates trickling. Awkward hugs. Sidelong glances. Tommy clapped Jake's back. Wine loose. Heard you decked Hargrove's kid last month. For harassing a queer teen. Legend. Jake flushed. Deflecting. Just the job. Later, buzzed by the fire pit, Tommy cornered me. Your man's a hero, but careful. Lila's rallying the old guard. Petition to recall him, moral fitness clause, ice in my veins. She's got no pull. Pull? Honey, she's married to the county clerk now. And Klein's preaching Hellfire Sundays. His grip tightened. Sympathetic. Watch your back. I didn't tell Jake. Shielding him, foolishly. But whispers amplified. Town hall meetings turning rowdy. Protesters waving crosses outside the station. Jake dove deeper. Double shifts. His laughter thinning. Climax brewed October. Harvest festival redux. Booths and bonfires masking malice. We attended coupled. Hands brushing defiant. Lila held court by the hay bales. Megaphone in hand. Eldridge values family. Not this. Agenda. Crowd murmured. Jake stiffened beside me. Ignore her. But she spotted us. Striding over. Smile serpent sweet. Sheriff Hale. Enjoying the fruits of your labor. Glancing at me. Disdain veiled. Though some fruits spoil quick. Deputy Whitaker was right. I snapped. You're bitter as unpicked apples. Gasps rippled. Jake's hand found my elbow. Warning or anchor. Lila. Enough. This town's bigger than grudges. Her laugh tinkled. Is it? Sign the petition. Jacob. Before we force your hand. She thrust a clipboard, names scrawled like indictments. He stared. Jaw granite. Then tore it in half. Paper fluttering like confetti defeat. No. The square hushed. Then erupted, cheers from allies. Boos from shadows. Lila's face twisted. She spat, traitor, before storming off. Aftermath. News vans swarmed. Sheriff stands ground in culture clash. Support flooded, national queer orgs donating. Rico's network amplifying. But home. Jake unraveled. Bourbon straight. Voice raw. What if I cost us everything? Your firm's bids. Local contracts drying up. They'll pivot. I pulled him close. But he shrugged free. Easy for you. City boy. blueprints and bailouts. I'm rooted here, born in the dirt, buried in it too. The words landed like betrayal's echo. Us versus them, him tethering to soil I'd fled. Rooted or roped, you chose this fight, Jake. With me. Did I? Doubt's poison. Or did love blind me to the noose? Silence stretched, chasm wide. I slept on the couch that night. Dreams of pullovers turned pursuits. Him chasing, me forever running. November elections loomed early. Recall vote. Lila's petition reborn with Klein's blessing. Jake campaigned fierce. Town halls preaching progress, not punishment. Op-eds in the Gazette touting crime drops under his watch. I stood beside. Speech polished. Eldridge isn't past or prejudice. It's potential. Jacob Hale builds bridges, not walls. Crowds split. Elders nodding wary. Youth chanting his name. But sabotage struck. A leaked memo. Forged but convincing. Jake diverting funds to gay initiatives. Station erupted. He faced the sheriff's council. Voice steady. Lies. But I own my truth. I'm gay. Partnered. Proud. Judge me on deeds, not desires. Scandal sheets devoured it. National cable called. Small-town sheriff comes out swinging. Allies surged. Obama-era momentum cresting. But threats darkened. Slashed brakes on my truck. Hang-up calls hissing slurs. Climax night. Recall vote at the high school gym. Bleachers packed. Air thick as a prize fight. Lila spoke first. Podium pound. He's eroded our values. Recall Hale. Restore righteousness. Booze. Cheers. Tide turning. Jake took the stage last. No notes. Just him. Flannel over badge. I scanning faces, friends, foes, family ghosts. I pulled over a man once, thinking authority made me mighty. But he showed me truth, strength's in vulnerability, love's in the leap, murmurs. My heart clenched. He'd woven our story, bare. Eldridge, you raised me, taught grit, grace, God. I serve that, not shadows. Vote your heart. Polls closed. We waited in the green room, his hand clammy in mine. Tally ticked. 52% no, retained. By a whisper. Elation exploded. Hugs from Rico. Tears from Mom Hale, now our biggest cheerleader. Rainbow pin on her purse. But victory's Pyrrhic. Jake collapsed post-party. Stress fracturing, an ulcer, Doc said. From carrying the county's sins. Hospital again. Sterile echo of Ma's vigil. I held watch, sketching his profile, lined now, but luminous. He woke groggy, squeezing my hand. Did I win? You always do. Kiss to knuckles. But ease up. We're a team. Recovery forged us anew. Therapy mandated. Sessions spilling home. His fears of abandonment. Dad's death. Ex's exit. My armor of independence, farm flight. Ma's loss. We rebuilt intentional. Date nights sans duty. Weekends unplugged. Hikes where he'd skip stones. Me sketching horizons hand in hand. Romance rekindled tender. Anniversary in the city. Rooftop bar overlooking my latest build. A community center. Plaque reading for Ruth. Fierce hearts. He toasted. Gray eyes sparkling. To hypotheses as unbreakable. Sex followed slow. Worshipful. His mouth reverent on my skin. My hands mapping his scars. Bullet graze from a 12 standoff. Laugh lines from our laughs. Authority's yours, he murmured. Yielding beneath me, our rhythms synced like seasons. Humanism deepened. Jake's reforms bloomed. youth alliances, crisis counseling. My designs inclusive, green spaces for the marginalized. Betrayals ghosts, Lila faded, town healing slow, Klein retired, successor preaching unity. Even Hargrove shook Jake's hand at the diner. Gruff, you're all right, hail. By 2020, pandemic locked us in tandem, his patrols masked, my office virtual. Isolation bred intimacy. Cooking experiments, his chili, my gumbo. Movie marathons mocking our tropes. When vaccines rolled, first outing pride, delayed but defiant. Masks rainbowed, his arm around me public as prayer. Climax revisited. A pullover, ironic Jake training rookies, me speeding for demo. Lights flashed, I stepped out grinning. Evening, deputy, license, he deadpanned, but eyes danced. Truth emerged anew. Love's loop, authority's gift. Years stacked gentle. 2025, silver anniversary trip, California coast, waves crashing like applause. We stood cliffside, rings glinting, his head on my shoulder. Pulled over that night. Best bust ever, I chuckled, kissing salt from his lips. Truth always wins. In America's weave dramatic, flawed, enduring, our thread held. Two men, once at odds, now woven whole. Human, heroic, home. 2025 unfurled with quiet thunder. Current date marking November 16th. Our lives a tapestry frayed but fortified. Jake's sheriff legacy solidified. Re-elected unopposed. His office a beacon for the bruised. Queer kids finding first allies. Families mending under his steady hand. Me, partner at the firm. Blueprints birthing not just buildings but belonging. Affordable housing arcs in Eldridge. Green roofs nodding to Ma's garden dreams. But peace courts peril. Conflict stirred subtle. A betrayal long dormant resurfacing like buried shale. Lila now widowed. Clerkship lost to term limits. Launched a podcast. Heartland Heritage. Dredging small-town purity. Episodes veered personal. Once, a local leader strayed. Golden boy turned rainbow renegade. Remember Jacob Hale? The pullover that started it all. Listened alone one crisp morning. Coffee curdling. She'd twisted our origin. Me as seducer. Him as victim. Fabricating details lurid. Motel trysts. Badge abuse. Jake, hearing later, laughed it off. Old news. Then. She's yelling at ghosts. But ghosts bite. Backlash trickled. Petition anew. Not recall but integrity audit. Klein's protege. Reverend Ellis, no relation. Cruel irony. Leading charge. Town hall packed tense. Air humming like pre-storm static. Jake faced them unflinching. Podium his pulpit. 20 years I've served. Busts and bridges. Mercy over might. Judge my record. Not rumors. Applause thundered. But dissent lingered. Whispers of agenda. Eyes on us coupled in front row. After. Drive home silent. His knuckles white on wheel. It's wearing. Then. The fight never ends. Neither do we. I laced fingers over gear shift. But doubt's vine crept. Was this endless war worth the peace? Climax crested unexpectedly. Thanksgiving Eve. Family feast at Mom Hale's, our kid's grandma now. 2 via surrogacy. Elias. All curiosity. Sophia. 5. Jake's dimples. Laughter flowed. Turkey carved. Stories spun. Till the call. Station dispatch. Shots fired. Maple domestic. Husband's the caller this time. Jake's face drained. It was the Warner's chronic case, her bruises his badges of failure. Stay, I urged, but he was vesting, kissing us hasty. Love you. Always. Hours stretched agony. Me pacing with kids tucked. Phone silent. Then, sirens wailing distant, cruiser crunching gravel. He stumbled in, bloodied, gash on forehead, uniform torn, eyes haunted. Jake! Kids swarmed. Mom Hale herded them gentle. Alone in kitchen, I cleaned the wound, antiseptic sting mirroring his flinch. He turned the gun on himself, voice hollow. After beating her again. I talked him down once, thought we'd turned the corner. Grief cracked him, sobs wrenching, lawman dissolving to lover, father, frail human. I held, rocking like Elias in tantrums. You saved her. That's the win. But confession spilled, seeing him. It's me, then. The authority I wielded on you that night. What if I'm just violence wrapped in virtue? Truth's blade, self-inflicted. No fierce. Your growth. That pullover, catalyst, not curse. We emerged better. He clung, salt-streaked. Don't let me break us. Never. Vow renewed. Bodies seeking solace later. Slow. Healing. His head on my chest. My fingers carding gray. Rhythms reaffirming wholeness. Resolution bloomed humanistic. Not Hollywood. Podcast fizzled. Lila's venom met with counters. Survivor testimonies. Jake's op-ed from authority to ally. Audit cleared unanimous. Reverend Ellis even shook hands post-service. Mumbling, grace for all, holiday healed. Elias's turkey drawing pinned proud. Sophia's giggles chasing shadows. New Year's. We renewed simple backyard. Friends circling. Rings refreshed. Vows evolved. Through pullovers and pursuits. Betrayals and breakthroughs. I choose you, fierce. Flawed. Forever. Years post. Elias out at 13. Jake's pride swelling oceans. Sophia sketching beside me. Hypotenuses her fancy. Jake retires 2030. Badge to Elias, if he chooses. Our farmstead sanctuary. Porch swings creaking symphonies. One November dawn, echoing our date. He pulls me to the overlook. Coffee steaming shared. Feel that. Hand to chest. Twin beats. Us. Smile shared. Lines etching joy. America's heart. Dramatic pulses. Emotional tides. Romantic fires. Humanistic hopes. We pulled through, authority humbled, truth triumphant. In the end, love's the only law that endures.